Welcome to Transitioning Texans into a Tech-Driven Workforce. I'm Michelle McEwen, the founder of Digitability. I was a high school autistic support teacher for 7 years. During that time, I was responsible for developing transition programming and goals for a wide range of learning profiles. I grew increasingly frustrated by the lack of resources available to support my own students through their transition into a modern workplace environment. Despite the progress we've made since the Americans with Disabilities Act, it seems that much still needs to be done. In fact, today, the majority of people with disabilities are unemployed. While the national average is 70%, Texas is slightly higher at 72%. Meanwhile, we're approaching a time where 75% of all jobs in the United States will require digital literacy. And we're beginning to see more companies interested in hiring people with disabilities and recognizing the value they bring to the company. In special education, we have a term called the cliff. The cliff denotes the drop-off in services that are supporting students with disabilities as they transition into adulthood. On the other side of the cliff is our technology-driven society and economy. As the majority of our students fall off that cliff, they are isolated. This lends to depression, an increase in anxiety, and often regression. The Digitability program is creating a path for inclusion for this large and growing population. We do it through a modern model that focuses on digital literacy and work-ready behavior. The Digitability program is a comprehensive model for creating real-world work simulations through our interactive curriculum that allows for personalized learning. At the same time, facilitators of the program are developing new tech skills and an ability to teach tech. But they are also developing strategies for social and emotional capacity building. And they have all of the data they need because the goals and objectives are already written and the progress monitoring can be done with the click of a button using Digitability's analytics feature. We at Digitability like to say, technology is to employment as phonics is to reading. In other words, it's not enough to teach tech skills in an ad hoc fashion. We know that our adolescents are savvy with today's technology. However, when we ask special education students the seemingly simple question, what is the internet? The number one response we'll get in the classroom is YouTube. Students are referencing their experiential knowledge about using the internet, but they have not developed a true foundation of digital literacy. And these are the skills that are necessary for truly leveraging technology to pursue their independence. For example, you can't teach something as common as sending email without building the necessary foundation around that concept. If we want our students to use email, we need to introduce them to the concept of a username. And with a username comes a password and the process of logging in and logging out of an account. Why is it so important that they fully understand the logging in and logging out concept? Because in order to use the Gmail website application to send an email, they need to create an account using personal information. Students need to be able to understand when it's appropriate to share personal information versus private information, or the type of information that we never post online, like our social security number. They also need to understand what it means when something becomes public information. Who can see it, who can comment on it, and what can be done with that information. We must be able to build a true literacy in a format that is accessible to students with cognitive disabilities. To illustrate how we'll build capacity for our students during their time of transition and into adulthood, I'll demo one lesson in the Digitability curriculum on public information. The anchoring question for this lesson is, what happens when I share something online? The video we're going to demo is in the first stage called the Internet Navigator. In each stage, there are several units of lessons. We're going to look at Unit 5, Sharing Basics. Each lesson is represented by a badge. All of these lessons align to a measurable objective for the unit Sharing Basics. The measurable objective is that the student will be able to distinguish appropriate online sharing behavior. The first badge starts with just defining the types of things you can share, like music, pictures, videos, or other websites. We then introduce the vocabulary word posting, which is what we call sharing something online. We then define what private information is, the type of information that students should never share online, like their social security numbers, home address, or mom's credit card information. Then we need to introduce the concept of public information, and that's what we'll look at for this demo. What happens when you share something online? Who can do what with public information?
What happens when I post or share on the internet? You know that when you post to a website, you are sharing with people you may not know. You know, posting on the internet lets people all over the world see what you shared. People all over the world can also share your post with others. Your post will be public information. Anyone on the internet can post a comment on public information. For example, if you post a picture on the internet, someone else can say what they think about the photo. People can also share public information. For example, if you post a photo on the internet, someone else can take your photo and post it on another website. Public information can spread very fast. Ask yourself, do I want my friends, family, and strangers to see my post? Do not post anything online unless you're comfortable with everyone seeing it. Let's review what you learned in this video. You know, anyone on the internet can post a comment on public information and share public information. You know that public information can spread very fast. You must ask yourself, do I want my friends, family, and strangers to see my post? You can replay this video or go to the activity to unlock your next badge.
You'll notice that the lesson we just watched was short, and that the pace of the voiceover allows for extended processing time for students who need it. The language is explicit, and there is built-in repetition of the key concepts. Now let's move on to the activity.
Complete this activity to earn your next badge. You know that anyone on the internet can post a comment on public information and share public information. Click on the image of what people can do with public information.
Now, in this unit of the curriculum, that first stage, Internet Navigator, we are building conceptual knowledge. Therefore, this activity is multiple choice and is designed to evoke a strong visual verbal association with the concept of public information. As we build capacity and move into later stages of Bloom's taxonomy, the modules provide simulated environments where students practice skill sets such as sending email in Gmail or using collaboration in the cloud tools in Google Drive applications. If a student attempts to answer a question in an activity incorrectly, they will receive a prompt.
Try again. Remember, anyone on the internet can post a comment on public information and share public information. Click on the image of what people can do with public information.
The student now has the opportunity to try again after receiving a prompt. Many students need repetition, and Digitability structures that repetition, creating a routine for every user. They return back to the activity, and when they answer the question correctly, they unlock their virtual reward and receive immediate positive reinforcement.
Congratulations! You unlocked the Public Information Badge. Public information can spread very fast. You must ask yourself, do I want my friends, family, and strangers to see my posts?
The Digitability program does not start or stop with the online modules. We have a library of resources for implementation, including pre-assessments to establish baselines, lesson plans that are already differentiated for a variety of learning profiles, SMART IEP goals and objectives for a variety of goals, not isolated to technology, but also including socialization, communication goals, as well as functional academic goals like reading, writing, and math. We also have project-based learning assignments that are differentiated so every student has a role and can be included in the project. We know that to adequately prepare students for the workplace, they need ample opportunities to practice working together, communicating while giving feedback and receiving feedback, and learning to adapt and become flexible so they can develop problem-solving skills. Every video is accommodated by a lesson plan that includes 3 tiers of differentiation and scripted with evidence-based behavioral techniques for social and emotional capacity building. The Texas Statewide Leadership and Training website lists a number of these practices and aims to offer resources to support educators and other interventionists in the great state of Texas. While Digitability utilizes many of these evidence-based strategies, I'll just point out a few, such as positive reinforcement, self-management, task analysis, which is part of applied behavior analysis, social skills training, and social communication and emotional regulation. All of these strategies are wrapped up in what we call our classroom economy, where we use boundaries and reinforcers to prepare students for the workplace. Students using the Digitability program earn work simulation money for their behaviors, as well as for their successful completion of work and their roles during the work simulations. Now they're managing their money and their budgets to pay bills in the simulation and to purchase rewards, such as a preferred activity. Digitability is designed to make the lives and teachers of administrators easier. We want to help you work smarter, not harder. That is why our project-based learning assignments are all aligned to IEP goals and include materials that also address math, reading, and writing needs. All of this ultimately leads to the development of the necessary skills to become independent in our tech-driven society. I'll wrap up this webinar with the findings from the University of Pennsylvania's survey of parents with students of cognitive disabilities like autism. When asking parents to describe themselves as satisfied or unsatisfied with transition services, they found that only 7% of parents were either satisfied or very satisfied with the current transition offerings. When parents were presented with the types of skills that Digitability teaches, we found an overwhelming positive response, with more than 88% of parents describing the skills that Digitability teaches as important or extremely important to the development of their child. This shows an increasing advocacy by parents in the area of transition, because the problem becomes, how will we transition this large and growing population into a technology-driven workplace? If you would like to learn more about these strategies or how they work, we are more than happy to show you. Sign up on our website for a private demo and we'll be in touch to schedule one.